Hello, I'm Pro8007 and this is a SGDQ 2018 speedrun submission for the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer. This is an any percent warpless run, and the goal is to beat the game in 55 minutes. So, let's begin. So, the Mario 3 Randomizer takes the same basic structure of the game and shuffles around enemy, world, and item placement order. So right away, and pipes have also been randomized, as you see there. So there are 3 pipes in World 6, and one of them will take me past the first 3 levels and the fortress, and I got that pattern, fortunately. And my first level is a hand level from World 8. So as you can see, there is already a high degree of variance. And now this 6.5 is a lost level. When F. Coughlin, the creator of the randomizer, put this whole thing together, he discovered 8 lost levels embedded in the code. And decided to include these levels in the randomizer. So among the regular levels, they have been included. Now in this case, I actually took an intentional death because that level is extremely long and it's not a lot of fun to do. So I decided to see what was in 6.6, and I got World 2.5 instead. Now Hammer Brothers have also been randomized in this, in that normally you'd see an ice arena here. Instead, I'm getting something from the desert world. Whereas this Hammer Brother encounter is a little more, is from, I think, World 1 or something. So, and the items I get from the Hammer Brothers have also been randomized. It could be anything from a mushroom to a P-Wing to a hammer or a Lakitu Cloud. And the last 2 I mentioned, the hammer and the Lakitu Cloud, are especially important in the randomizer because, of course, Lakitu Clouds, for those of you familiar with Mario 3 Vanilla, can help you skip levels. The hammers are also important because they have been designed in this version of the randomizer 1.1.3 to not only break boulders, but to break locks. So this allows you, depending on the order of the worlds, to skip significant portions of it. So there is a bit of strategy involved in that, knowing when to use your boulder, use your hammers, and when and how to use them. So it's been generally recommended to do it in situations where you can skip up to 3 levels. So, for example, at the start of World 1, there's a lock that protects the second half of World 1. That would be a good place to use it. World 2 has, and Worlds 2, 4, and 5 also have this. Ooh, I have to reset there. I missed my window. Okay, that's better. So this is a fortress from World 7. It's one of 2 levels in the game that require you to have flying ability to exit the level. The other being, of course, 6.5. So the randomizer forces the gamer to take what they already know about the traditional Mario 3 game and, you know, be able to adjust on the fly to situations that you otherwise wouldn't necessarily have to do. Now this level 5.6 is an auto-scroller. The auto-scrollers in this game have actually been turned off with 2 exceptions, one of which was that underwater level I took an intentional death in. The other is 5.9, and that's because the game, you couldn't possibly complete the game because of the level, because of the way it's auto-scrolled. So I took an extra 5 up there just to have a little bit of a cushion to work with, because while Mario 3 by itself is not an especially difficult game. There are situations where you can get a really unpleasant level, and you don't have and you either get a really bad enemy pattern or just an unfortunate draw as far as, you know, items. So it's good to play it safe early on. That was another lost level. No enemies, it's just a straight path up to the top there, so it's actually kind of a freebie. So, the third fortress of World 6 is the Air Force level from World 8. The Navy, Air Force, and what we call the Super Tanks level, the penultimate level of the game, have been included with the fortresses because they have Boom Boom at the end. The first level of World 8, the first tank level, is included with the regular level draw, as are the hands. Luckily, Boom Boom does not change one bit. He still takes 3 hits. The same cannot be said for the Koopa Kids that I will be encountering in a minute. First, we're going to do the end card game. Now, the end cards have been shuffled up in terms of you know, where the items are located, and what items you get. So, for example, I just got a mushroom there. I did not get a mushroom. I got a P-wing for that. So, and the end cards themselves have been shuffled up, so you can't rely on the orders that you may have learned from the vanilla Mario 3 game. Fred saw to that. Now, the Koopa Kids will always be in the vanilla locations, but the airship they're on could vary. So in this case, I got the World 4 airship. So that makes this fight a little challenging because Lemmy, the Koopa Kid, is usually on a flat arena. As you can see, he's also taking more than 3 hits, which is normally what you would have to do to beat him. In this case, he required 5, which is the most you could possibly have against Lemmy. It could be as little as 1 or as many as 5, and their attributes are also randomized, though Lemmy's really can't be. But for example, the World 1 Koopa Kid, Larry, could have the ability to shake the ground like Roy or Ludwig. A nice little Simpsons reference about a lemon tree. Can never go wrong with that. So World 3 is going to be another world where pipes are extremely important. Now I could end up right at the end of World 3 here. No such luck, but I got a good... this is a good pipe to have. And I get a hammer. Now I could, in theory, use it to break that lock. But I'm going to skip it. I'm going to actually play the fortress, because usually because I want to save the hammer for a situation where it really pays off. Using it on... and for all I know, this that pipe there could end up taking me behind the World 3 Fort 2 pipe, which also requires a hammer to break the lock. So I'm going to hedge my bets and play it safe right now. Now normally you'd see 3 boos in here, but the enemies have been shuffled up, so but within the continuum of the fort, so a lot of dry skulls and or dry bones, I mean, and hot feet from the candles. So let's see where this takes me. Okay, so now I know exactly where to go. I'm gonna have to play 3 more levels to get to Wendy. So 3-9 is actually 6-10 today. This is a pretty easy level overall. Just a couple of tight jumps, but otherwise, you know, pretty basic. So Mario 3 Randomizer isn't something you might think would work, but it's actually worked remarkably well, and we are actually currently in the middle of a tournament on speed gaming that involves 54 players. I'm one of them, We are currently at this stage, as of today, in the round of 16, the general enthusiasm among the rando community has been very strong, and the people involved have been very good too. You know, Big John put the whole tournament together. F. Coughlin or Fred created the randomizer. So, and we've had some top flight players join in as well, like Sky Bills, who is the top seed actually in this tournament that we're doing. I'm actually the number 2 seed. Mitch Flower Power, Grand Pooh Bear, Classic Gamer, a lot of really good runners have thrown their names into this ring, and relative newcomers. I guess I'd qualify as one because I don't have like years of experience compared to some of the other speedrunners. But it's been a lot of fun, and the community's been very good. And this is the kind of game. This game's a little more. It's pretty accessible. I mean, you don't need to be an expert in Mario 3 to really enjoy this. Just go in and have some fun. So. I know. I know Sky Bills and Big John and a few others, I think Mitch and Grand Pooh Bear are the others, are submitting a 4-way race, and that's great. And I hope they get in. I hope this gets in. I hope we could have like a big old race of Mario 3 Randomizer, because it's not an especially long game, especially the any percent warpless category. It only takes about 45 to 55 minutes, depending on how nasty the levels are, and how few hammers and Lakitu clouds you get. So, but this has been a real treat doing these randomizers. So Wendy has got the ability to shake the ground, and that's not great. Oh, and she's taking she's gonna need all 5 hits. But luckily it was a flat arena, so the World 6 airship that time, so that was actually pretty fortunate. If it was, say, the World 7 airship or the World 4 airship, the one Lemmy was on, that could have been really unpleasant. With those rings bouncing around in a much tighter area, you don't have a lot of room to run. So we've done Worlds 6 and 3. 6 is one of the longer ones. Now, World 7 can be really long or really short. It's all about where the pipes take you. You really want this to be on the Eastern Islands. That was not. It took me straight to the bottom center island, which is actually the one you don't want it to go to, because you have to play 2 levels just to access 1 pipe. So it's all kind of a gamble either way, but I would say percentage-wise, you have better chances taking this to playing 7-1. And at least it's not vanilla 7-1, because that's not a fun level. Even if you know the skip and the clip in the wall at the beginning, it's still not a fun level. So I'm going to see where this pipe takes me. Hopefully somewhere good. Okay, it takes me to the North Central Island, which is actually good. That's if you have to pick an island and it's not the one of the Eastern Islands, this is the one you want, because you get a shot at 3 pipes. And you get a free item out of this one. It's a star. Vanilla game would be a P-Wing. So it's never a bad thing to get free items. Now this, I have a hammer, so I am absolutely going to use this and play 7-9, and it's 7-9 with a Angry Sun. Now, as is tradition in the randomizer races we've done on Speed Gaming, it is customary to yell "Fred" in sort of mock derision, because You know, vanilla, particularly regular levels, is pretty uncommon. You know, in any given run, you could probably have, I don't know, 3 or 4 vanilla levels. This is the first. But we have had as many as 8 in a race that I know of. Because I actually commentated on that one, and actually there were 4 in a row at one point. It was pretty weird. So the sun made that level a little more complicated, but nothing too difficult. So yeah, so Fred gets blamed for that one. So the Navy is the World 7 Fort 2, and thankfully that this one is not vanilla. Because the World 7 Fort 2 is widely considered the hardest level in the game, and with good reason. Quick kill on Boom Boom. Now I could use, I think I have a music box. No I don't. If I had a music box, I could skip the Piranha if I wanted. But I'm going to go for that free item. I just lost my fire ability. The 2 Piranha levels are one of 4 levels in the game that can never be randomized. The 2 Piranhas, the tower in World 5 that links to the Sky World, and of course Bowser at the end. They are not randomized. Everything else is. And this is not randomized though. So Fred, you did it again. So this is actually a good one to use a P-Wing on if you've got it. I'm just going to play this through. Take my chances with Ludwig. It is kind of a switch playing these airships without the auto-scroller when you've been playing it the same way for over 20 years. It makes them a lot more pleasant in some respects. Oof, that's not good. But luckily, he doesn't have the ability to shake the ground. Still makes it still a formidable opponent. So 3 worlds down, 2 of the longer ones off the books, 6 and 7. 5 is going to be pretty long when it comes up. And I burned up my hammer to skip through. So worlds 1 and 2 and 4, I can't skip half the world. I'll have to play it through unless I get a hammer here from the king, who speaks with an authentic Mushroom Kingdom accent, whatever that means. So even with the taunting note, we still get an item, and it's a music box. It's unfortunate. So we have to play this through. World 2, and it's, well, it's almost vanilla. It's 2-2 for 2-1. So here I'm just going to kind of play it a little safe. Actually, that was pretty lucky, but I'll take it. So, is it worth it playing the end card games? It depends who you ask. Some are very much advocates of it. I guess I fall into that camp. Some runners, like, not accusing him, but Classic Gamer 88, for example, is a runner who will skip the end cards unless he absolutely has to play them through. And that's usually if he gets in a pipe situation. But otherwise, he'll skip them and take his chances with the items on whatever from what he gets from the Hammer Brothers and after Worlds, and anything like in a hand level or Piranha level or what have you. Both are perfectly valid interpretations. I tend to prefer to play at least the end card game once through, just to see if there's anything really good. Because sometimes you can get a hammer or a Lakitu cloud from the items, because it just depends on what the seed is giving out that day. And if you get an extra hammer or Lakitu cloud, it can really pay off, especially late in the run. But it's all a matter of preference. Some prefer to do it based on execution, and some prefer to run the game based on how well on stocking up on items and getting, some pretty good draws. And we have runners of both types in the final 16. So we had runners who won all their matches doing both interpretations. So I'm sure perhaps future versions of the randomizers might make some tweaks as far as items go. But, it's all how you want to play it. So the quicksand level is 5-5, another pretty short and easy level. Great for using speed strats. Short jumped it there, that's unfortunate. Would like to keep that fire ability for the Hammer Brothers, but I'll work it out. I probably will clear out the end card game just to see what other stuff I can get, because end cards generate every 80,000 points. So no end cards today. There's a hammer though, that's good. That'll come in handy for Worlds 1 and 5, and 4 for that matter. It's never fun to get Fire Bros, especially one that's hanging under these blocks here. So you really need fire ability to get rid of them. So, got a Lakitu Cloud and a, okay. And a hammer. So this is one of those situations where I am going to take an intentional death and see what's on the other side. 7-5 is one of the nastiest levels in the game. Well, 7-1, I'm not that adroit with the clip, so I'm going to play this through. But 7-5 is not a particularly pleasant level on its own, but you throw in a boss bass into the mix and it becomes infinitely worse. Because yes, boss basses can randomly show up. And when they show up, that can make life really nasty. Because like in the vanilla game, you get rid of them once, they're still going to come back for more. So let's see if I can do this right. Nope. Well, got away with it anyways, but not my preferred method. The coin ship where that third Hammer Brother is. Coin ships randomly appear in this game too. Oof. So this is another lost level, and it's a pretty simple one. It's just basically a straight line to the finish, though the enemy placements you get can make things a little interesting sometimes. But generally, you should be able to just run right through it. Oh good, I got a hammer suit. Hammer suits are very valuable in this game. Obviously, if you've played Mario 3 regular, you know that a Hammer Brother suit can kill Bowser in 5 hits. It's a one-hit kill on any boom booms you encounter. I was trying to go for the clip in the ceiling to get the wand before it hit the ground, before it appears, but it was a little short there. So. King has got some very serious issues if he was really hoping to turn him into an Oscar Mayer wiener. So World 5 is World 5. We're going to give Fred a pass on that one, but he's not getting a pass on this. 6-6 is another one of those levels that is generally disliked because it's just not a lot of fun in vanilla, and because the enemies are randomized, you can get some really ugly patterns here with the enemy placements. So far, especially bloopers. The bloopers are what makes this level awful. And there's one. But I'm getting a couple of stars out of this, so this is actually making it a lot more manageable. Piranhas here can also the piranhas in this level are also randomized, so you just gotta really kind of power it through, and I'm getting hit all over the place. Don't want to use my Lakitu Cloud. I'd rather actually save it for 5-9. But, more on that when we get to it. But I got through relatively unscathed, so that's good. I'm just going to give myself a little power up. So this is the first tank level. This one, as I indicated earlier, is mixed in with the regular levels because it doesn't end with Boom Boom. It ends with a little Koopa Troopa. Or Hammer Brother, I mean. Koopa Troopa. Probably wasn't necessary to get another power up, but I don't know. I like to play a little safe here. He's down. And got a music box, so not especially useful. It's not uncommon to see the runners go for just use a star before dealing with a Hammer Brother, just because you don't know what kind of Hammer Brother you're going to get. If you get 2 Fire Bros, it could be really, really painful. So better to just go in, you know, super powered and just deal with it. So 5-3 is 3-9. Another popular level for speedrunners because of all the fun stuff you can do. But here I'm just gonna run it out. Get myself fire flower. See if I can hold it this time. I've got a hand. Got the blooper to run away. That's good. So I got 2 hammers and a Lakitu Cloud at my arsenal, which is really nice this late in the game. I'm going to skip the end card because I already know it can't give me anything especially useful. But at least nothing that would really help me speed this thing up. Because I've got most everything else I need. I've got my hammer, I've got my hammer suit. I've got a couple of P-Wings. Got the hammers, got the Lakitu Cloud. Anything else I really need at this point, it's probably be on a case-by-case basis, but I can just pick up what I need from the levels themselves. So I'm not too worried about getting, you know, barraged to death. The only worlds left on the board are worlds 1 and 4. All things being equal, I hope World 4 is actually next, just because there are 3 more Hammer Brothers. There's a decent chance I'll probably get another hammer out of the deal, which would allow me to sail through World 1 really quickly in less than 3 minutes. Oof. Hate those guys. I might... It's another pretty simple fortress, although speed strats are a little harder here because of the random enemies I encounter. So I'm just going to play it safe. There has been talk of randomizing the doors, so you have to guess on which one it is, but so far that seems to be more of an idea than anything that's actually going to happen. But who knows? Kind of hoping that Hammer Brother would come back to me. And he still might. Another lost level. This is sort of a 7-3 beta. I was hoping to get a star there. Help me just fly through the first half of this level. Not that I really need it, but this Lakitu is a pain. Oh, that's unfortunate. I overshot my jump. But it got the Hammer Brother to come back, so it's not a total loss. Use a star. That's because the arenas are randomized, you know, if you're small and you wind up in here, this could be really unpleasant. And it was really for nothing. It was just another music box. Let's use a P-wing here. So here I am going to use my Lakitu Cloud just to skip 5-9. I don't know what 5-9 is. It could be really simple. But I would rather just use it now. I'll take my chances with the airship. And I thought I was using a P-wing. Guess not. Whatever. World 1 airship. Pretty easy. Point he hit me. He's got Roy's got Iggy's ability to jump really high, and he needed 4 hits. Okay, so down to the wire. Just 2 more worlds to go. And yes, I know I misspelled World 7. I don't know how that happened. I'll fix that later. Rare King who enjoyed being whatever he was. I actually forget what he actually is in World 5. So it's World 4, not... this actually is what I preferred, so that's good. So I'm going to see which pipe this takes me to. And it's to the pipe I wanted. So use that to break open the lock. And enter the fort. And it's another vanilla fort. Fred, you've done it again. That's 3 now. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Now, to be fair to Fred, for just 1 second, there are only 17 fortresses in the game, so a slightly better odds of one of them being vanilla than say a regular level. But no, he's still getting the blame for this, because this is actually the stretch where the 4 in a row happened. It was 4-3, 4-4, 4-6, and 4-4-2 were all vanilla. Another hand level. That's an interesting glitch. We're not sure why that happens. But we'll take it, and I'll get my item. And the item, whatever it is, so in this case it's a leaf, so it'll always be a leaf for the rest of the the other two hand levels. So that was a detour well spent. I like to wait and see if that Hammer Brother will actually come back, because you get three Hammer Brothers here. You might as well take advantage of them, especially if you skip the first half of World 4 early. So now I'll be able to skip World 1 really quickly. And with all this talk of skipping, the warp whistles are not being used in this version of the randomizer. This is the tournament version I am playing on. So warp whistles have been disabled. So for example, the whistles you would get in 1-3, 1 Fort, and the third Hammer Brother in World 2 have been taken out and replaced with other items. Still worth getting them because they're often pretty good items, but in this case, no such luck. So, and that's more just to protect the runners than anything else. If they accidentally get a hammer and then they use it to, skip a world by accident. We don't want that to happen. So, second fort is 5 Fort 1. Probably my least favorite fort in the game, just because I don't really like the jumps in this level are really awkward for me. I don't know why. Others can just sail through this. I do not have an easy time with it. I mean, yeah, I got through it unscathed here, but I've had times where it's just really, this fort really trolls me. What airships are left? Worlds 3 and 5, I think, are the only ones left. I think everything else has been used. Yep, World 3. So this will be on a flat arena, which is nice. Iggy has the boom shake, but only needed one hit, which is fortunate. Although Iggy's doesn't shoot rings like Wendy, so it's not that big of a threat, especially on a flat surface. Another hammer suit. You can never have too many hammer suits. So now I'm on my way to 1-5. I'm going to take another intentional death here. Use a P-Wing for this level. 8-1 is another pretty difficult level overall. And Randomizer doesn't really make it a whole lot worse, although enemy placements can be really awkward at times, but 8-1 just by itself is a difficult level. So you got fire chains and fire chomps and fire snakes and all sorts of unpleasant creatures. So this is a much faster solution. So I'm going to use my Lakitu Cloud here. And the Lakitu Cloud could be used in World 8, but the potential for its applicability is rather limited. Hammers are kind of the same way, but it just depends. So World 5 airship is the last one up. I keep my... okay, now I'm getting it. I'm going to try and keep my... Raccoon ability, but since the Bullet Bill took it away, I'll just go with an extra hit here. Just fly through this. So Larry. 3 hits and he's out. So I'm actually making really good time. I haven't I mean, I've taken a few intentional deaths here and there. The only really terrible mistake I made was probably the 7-3 beta. I hope Fred comes up with new quotes for the kings in the next version of the randomizer. There's so much you could do with these. So the anchor, which I haven't discussed, is designed to give out a random item. It could be anything from, you know, a star to, you know, a Lakitu cloud or whatever. We kind of actually hope it's a Lakitu cloud. That's probably the best possible item to get. The old version of the randomizer was actually giving out frog suits 95% of the time, which is great if you like the frog suit, but it's not especially helpful in a randomizer. So now we come to the big part. Which pipe will take me to Bowser? These are all randomized, and wow. That's pretty amazing. That's what we call the God pipe. That is outstanding. So now I just got one fort to play, and then it's on to Bowser. And this might actually be a PB for me. I think my PB is like 44-30 or something. So this is really cool. Quick kill on Boom Boom. So all those hammer suits I've been stocking up will come in handy here. Alas, we're not going to find out what the anchor was hiding today. The star ability is really just a safety for that opening corridor, because generally you can speed your way through it without getting hit, but sometimes the Bowser statues will hit you, and it'll deny me the chance to do the quick kill on Bowser. Got the clip through the wall, the one-up clip, the easiest clip in the game. Through the last room, and then it's gonna. There goes Bowser, and that is it. So that's a outstanding time overall. That's gonna be about 42:20. So overall, that is the Mario 3 randomizer. It's a lot of fun. I think it'd make a great race, a relay race, or whatever everybody has in mind. I know there's, you know, like I said, a few of the runners have already submitted their race, and I know a few others have as well. But you know, this has been a lot of fun to really play, and I think the audience would get a real kick out of seeing Mario 3 from a slightly different angle. I think they'd really enjoy it, and it's a nice quick race, takes under an hour. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it informative, and hope you, if you do see this, you check out the videos on YouTube and on Speed Gaming highlighting the Mario 3 randomizer tournament, and check out the Mario 3 randomizer Discord. Very friendly, active bunch. Be happy to answer any questions or help you if you're interested in playing these. So thank you.